Today in the mail, my Harrel's pistol powder measure arrived. And I'm just going to open it up here and show it to you. Let me grab my knife. So I opened the box from the US Postal Service already. And they've got some good padding with newspaper in there so that this doesn't jiggle around too much. And this was in a surprisingly small box. Smaller than I expected, but this is my first powder measure because I'm just getting into reloading. And so I guess I didn't know what to expect. Or no reason I should know what to expect really, so let's crack it open. But this is the pistol powder measure, so it's smaller than the other ones that they sell. It has a smaller hopper, and the primary difference as far as I know between the pistol powder measure and the other ones is the amount of powder that they can dispense. For example, the classic measure, which I'm planning on getting, will dispense between 6 and 120 grains of powder. 6 being the smallest charge that it'll dispense. It wasn't really adequate if you want to do much pistol reloading. It might work for some of the larger pistol calibers, but for all the typical ones, 9mm, 45, 40 S&W, and so on, you just can't get a small enough charge out of that measure. So you really need the pistol measure. Here's the hopper. This, Nalgene. That's interesting. This I suspect I won't normally use, since this will be screwed onto the dispensing mechanism typically. There's something in here which I'll crack open in a sec. Nice little brass fitting there, I'm not sure what that's for. And then normally this will be screwed onto the dispensing mechanism, so I'll just pop this end off to fill it with powder, put it back on to keep debris out, and so on. Let's see what's in here. Dispensing tubes. So these will attach to the bottom portion of the dispensing mechanism, and powder will come down the chute there and into the casing. These are definitely different sizes. They're same length. They both have about a 45-degree taper on this end, and a really steep taper on this end. Not quite as steep a taper on this end. This is probably an 80-degree taper on the inside. This one's much more not so steep. Probably 50 or 60-degree taper. I'm not sure which end goes where, but I guess I would use pick the one that's appropriate for the size of the case. I will read about that. Some instructions maybe. This is the instructions. Not too much to it. Talks about the drop tube a little bit, which will be these. Says they must be installed correctly, and I'll look at that later. And then it talks about the scale and how to adjust the amount of powder that comes out. Now for the good part. Beautiful. Very, very nice. The feel of cold metal. Looks like the mount is steel. And this is machined aluminum, looks like. And lots of brass parts, including this one. It's got the logo on it, and their phone number. I hate labels on things, so I will be removing the label. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. Whenever I get a new computer or anything else, camera, first thing I do is take the labels off. I hate them. So this is very, very nicely built. That's got a beautiful click on it. Very, very nice. Just feels very precise, very high quality. And their better measures, their top-end measures, Harrel's top-end measures, come with needle bearings. And where there's no drag there whatsoever. The knob here is fixed, it doesn't rotate, which is okay. You're only moving this 180 degrees, so it's probably not too important that that rotate. Might be a nice touch, but I don't think it'll matter. You got some lock screws here. You got the coarse scale here and a finer scale here. Or actually, maybe this would be considered the coarser scale and this more precise. Each click is half of a unit here. Okay. So this collar screws in here. You can kind of just infer how it goes together here. There's threads here, threads on the inside, and I suspect as you screw this in, yeah, there's a little taper on the inside, so you would screw that on there, or in there, and pick the appropriate drop tube. And it's smooth here. They've roughed it up the last inch or so here so that you've got some friction, and then screw that in and it will tighten down on the tube. Looks like the distance here when this is unscrewed, that would be maybe 1.5 inches. So if your table's thicker than that, you'll need to rig up another method of mounting it on your table. But it's a little loose, but there won't be a lot of force on the powder measure, so it doesn't need to be too precise or terribly strong. But I think that'll be plenty strong. The hopper will go right on there. So there's the whole unit with one of the drop tubes installed. Let's see if this comes out. I think it does. It's just a matter of I can't do it with just my hands. They've machined or punched, it looks like actually, a hexagon in the top there, so you can use an Allen wrench to unscrew this, which I will do. And actually, this scale here goes all the way well inside the scale, or inside the body of the powder measure, which simply means I can move this way out, and that opens up the cavity inside there for a much larger quantity of powder to be dispensed. Yeah, boy, the feel of this is just really nice, and it looks like it would be very, very easy to repeat a drop of a specific quantity of powder. Very easy, just by looking at these scales, adjusting it first for this to line up where you want it to, and then line this up Very easy to do, very easy to repeat. I will grab an Allen wrench, and I'll take this out and come back and show you a little bit more and do some get some better shots. So there's the plug, sort of. Maybe this just maybe having this plug here, actually maybe this is a baffle. I think I've read people talk about a baffle before. Maybe that's what this is. It just keeps, maybe controls the powder, prevents it from just dumping so fast into the body. Let's see if I can get that out. There we go. Not too tight now, it's just hard to get a grip on it. All right. Okay, so that piece also holds this entire unit in place. You can see how it fits in there to hold that in place. I was saying how the scale goes in there. You can see the scale on the outside there. There we're at 0. Now we're 1 revolution here, and we're at the first notch there. I think you can hear and see how this is so precise and has such a great feel to it. And the scale goes all the way in there. You can see the wider I open this up, the bigger that cavity gets inside there, and the powder will fall in there when I rotate this handle into the up position, and then I'll rotate it down, and that'll drop the powder out the bottom. I don't see any particular reason to take this apart any further at the moment. See how it's put together? And it is beautiful. Very nice. So let me just add a few final comments here. The drop tube and this collet here, the proper way to install it, I read, is to remove the collet and then put a drop tube in here until it protrudes between 1/8 and 1/16 of an inch out the end here, and then just finger tighten it, screw it into the body and finger tighten it. So that's really easy. The instructions also discuss proper technique of using this. The thing they say is the most important is to move the handle up and down consistently. They say move it up until it just touches the top, stop, and then back down at the same speed. You also may have seen people tapping their powder measure as they run it after filling the powder measure or dispensing the powder. They'll tap on it once or twice. And the instructions for this, the Harrel's Schuetzen pistol powder measure, say that they find that usually actually hurts accuracy. This powder measure is intended to measure between 2 and 25 grains of powder. So right there in the pistol range or small rifle cartridge range. Each click of this dial here is 3/100ths of a grain. So very precise. 3/100ths, 6/100ths, 9/100ths, 12/100ths, and so on. So you can very, very easily repeat the same exact measure of powder, same exact quantity. Very nice. What else? That's the bracket actually is 1.4 inches, so it's pretty small. But again, there's really very, very little force being put on this device, so you don't need a super strong or big bracket. And I'm not sure exactly how I'll mount it on my bench, but I'll figure that out and come back and demonstrate the powder measure in action.